Okay. So again, everyone, welcome everyone, and we starting the recording of the session. So the agenda for the day, and we're honored to have Leah Hall from Three Rivers Community Actions, not to be confused with Three Rivers Justice or
or Three Rivers Habitat, right? So, two rivers, yeah.
So to talk about the affordable housing projects, and that's great. And I'm going to say a few words about the Culture Center that will be asked to present at the DMC Real Estate Summit. And then I'll give some quick updates about the other CMRC projects that we've been engaging, and a few words about the future CMRC. And then DMC folks are supposed to be coming, and maybe City Rochester may be coming too. They have something to add to our conversation today. So without further ado, I think I'll just let Leah take it away, and I'll stop sharing and see if Leah can share your screen or whatever you want to do it. Okay?
Sure. Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah. Okay. All right, I've got this presentation teed up. Let's see if it works. Great. Hopefully you can see my screen and my cursor. Great. Yep. Okay. I'm going to move you. Sorry, I got triple screens here. So just give me 1 second. I'm going to move you onto my screen so I can see your faces. Great. All right. Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for letting me speak with you today. So my name is Leah Hall. I'm the director of Three Rivers housing development work. And today, or this evening, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about us and share some information about two important housing projects we're bringing to Rochester, and then ask your advice and hopefully get some feedback for some next steps that we could really use your help on. So really briefly, so Three Rivers, we're a community action agency. If you're not familiar with community action, we're one of about 24 in the state of Minnesota and about 1,000 across the nation. We're a mission-based organization, and our mission really is to assist households to exit poverty, to build assets, and to ensure that communities are thriving across our territory. Three Rivers serves our sort of heart of our territory, is Olmsted County, Rice County, Goodhue County, and Wabasha County. So we do a variety of services across those counties, everything from rehousing folks who are experiencing housing instability, providing weatherization, energy assistance, Head Start, transportation, elder services, and a lot more. So we do a lot of different things, but my area of expertise for Three Rivers is affordable housing development. And so our affordable housing development really focuses right now on multifamily projects. We've done some single family in the past, but what I mean by multifamily are really apartment complexes and townhomes. We do that now primarily because we can put more units on the ground faster than we can one by one single family projects, although they are very important. That is also a very important part of the housing continuum. So a lot of our projects are funded by Minnesota Housing Finance Agency. Every July, we compete with organizations across the state. We compete to secure funding from Minnesota Housing every July to put projects on the ground across our region. Right now, we own 19 properties that consist of about 579 affordable housing units in the region, with 2 under construction and a third in Austin that will be under construction in short order. So as I mentioned, we're an expert in housing development, but we also provide supportive services. So we have a supportive housing team that is often linked in with our housing development work. They are advocates for folks who maybe have experienced homelessness, folks who maybe have a disability, or other people that are looking for someone to help coordinate services for them. And every year about this time, we seek community input purposefully across the region. We try to do this on an ongoing basis as a community action agency, but right now in the spring is the time when our housing development team really hones in on this. And so this is why I'm here with you today. To give you an idea of what I'm talking about, I just want to give you some examples of what we've done in the past. We've worked with folks who have lived experience, again, in housing instability, or also known as homelessness, to figure out from them directly what kind of services we can provide that best help people remain housed and successful in our projects. We've worked with large families, Somali families in Faribault, to develop Prairie Wood townhomes that housed 100 children last year to help make sure that we're meeting the needs of that part of our community. We've worked with Spanish-speaking households in Lake City. We have Underwood Terrace, an apartment complex under construction over there. We wanted to make sure that Spanish-speaking households were aware of this project. We outreached and incorporated feedback into that project. I'd mentioned early on when I first got on that we've been working with Austin for this project that we're going to hopefully be under construction here in the next couple of months, and the Welcome Center there to make sure that we're incorporating the needs of folks who are new to the United States. And finally, we've also done projects in partnership with organizations that advocate, serve, and represent persons with disabilities to make sure that projects, whenever possible, really go beyond what's considered ADA disability compliance. So helping make sure we're meeting those needs as well. So that all being said, the two projects I want to share with you tonight, the first one is East Side. I'm going to tell you about this project, show you where it is, and then show you our second project. And then I want to leave plenty of time to hear your thoughts about next steps. So I'll try to make this brief and then of course answer any questions you might have. The first project I want to share with you for Rochester is called East Side Apartments. This is 40 units we're planning to build. These will be 9 one-bedroom units and 31 two-bedroom units. It'll include an elevator, underground parking. We have a range of rents that we like to provide, and I'm giving you the 2-bedroom rents because all of our 1-bedroom units are slated to be supportive housing. I'll talk about that in 1 second. But just to give you an idea about what I mean by affordable, the rents in those 2-bedroom units for non-supportive housing range from $627 up to about $1,380. And we do that because these different types of rents are affordable to folks at perhaps 30% of the area median income, 50% and 60%. So try to keep that tiered. They are rent controlled, so they don't come with a rental subsidy, but someone can certainly bring a project-based Section 8 voucher or any other assistance that they might have. They can bring it right into the project with them. As I mentioned, this will also include 9 one-bedroom units. These are supportive housing. Three Rivers will be on site to serve the folks that are in our supportive housing units. We'll have 4 for persons that have experienced the trauma of homelessness and 5 units for persons with disabilities. And we'll be specifically targeting persons with mental health challenges in this project. Our total income limit is 60% of the area median income. And to give you a little insight as to what that is, if you don't know that off the top of your head, it really is very modest income. So we're talking about $42,000 for a single person, $42,000 to $44,000 or so for two people in a household, and so on. So these are what I would consider modest incomes for our area. It's tough for me to say low income because these are folks that are working in a lot of the service industry jobs and other things on Main Street here. And so where is it? This is a great location. We're very excited about this. We've been assembling this block for about 10 years. This is a block you can see on my little cursor here. Right along 4th Street Southeast, very close to the core of downtown. If you are familiar with the Roscoe site, that's kind of near us to kind of help kind of hone us in as to where we are. And this site is right in the transit-oriented development district. So there's about 4 different buses that go right by here. And then, of course, Rochester is continuing to develop this as a rapid transit area. And here are some images of this. So we hope this will be beautiful. This will be replacing 4 fairly dilapidated homes that we've been just keeping up the best we can as Three Rivers. And then we'll be incorporating or moving this or redeveloping this block into East Side. The second one I want to share with you is called Restoration Glen. So this is an apartment project that we're proposing that's in partnership with Bear Creek campus. And I'll show you that map in a minute if you're not familiar with Bear Creek is. But Bear Creek started off as just Bear Creek Church. They acquired a campus. They developed that campus into a wide range of different kinds of housing, both temporary and permanent housing. They do all kinds of different services there, including services for veterans. And so we thought that this would be a great incorporation to add 48 affordable housing units right on their campus, right on the front of their campus along the main drag on Mayowood Drive. So these 48 units will have 12 one-bedroom units, 24 two-bedroom units, 6 three-bedroom units, and 6
Ama
four-bedroom
nijitafutie
units.
kubadilisha, nijitafutie kufanya hapa ama nitumie tu
And-
credit card yangu?
And if you're not familiar
Sorry.
with, oh, no problem, no worries. And if you're not familiar with, looking for affordable rentals for large families, it's very, very difficult, as many of you may know, in Rochester. So we're really excited about being able to incorporate these large units into this project. Similar to the East Side project, we will have underground parking elevator, so fully accessible. And I put the rent grid kind of over here on the side. I won't read those to you if that's okay. But just again, you can see kind of a tiered, different kinds of rents for people at different incomes. And very similar to East Side, again, we're incorporating supportive housing units. So all of those one bedrooms are going to serve folks who've experienced the trauma of homelessness and persons that have disabilities. And again, we know the key need in Rochester right now is folks with mental health challenges. So we will also be incorporating those units in this project. And again, same income level or income cap that we were just describing for the East Side. And I should mention really briefly, the reason for that income cap is that that's a criteria that Minnesota Housing has because of the funding mechanism. So that is a mandate by the funders. And of course, Three Rivers is also slated to be the on-site service provider at this project. So here's kind of an image as to where Bear Creek is. If you haven't been to their campus, around their campus, this is sort of behind the Apache Mall area. There is the Waters on Mayowood, beautiful senior complex kind of across Kitty Corner. And then right across the street is the Olmsted County Mayowood project. So they're adding on, they have some apartment complexes there, and they're adding on some senior housing across the way. So very residential type area, and again, incorporated in the Bear Creek campus. And these are just really preliminary. They aren't as pretty as East Side. We're early on with this one. We don't have floor plans yet. I was really hoping to show you some nice elevation images, but this will be a high quality apartment complex. I wanted you just to kind of see the size of it. What you see down here is Mayowood Drive, and then coming into the campus with all of this parking for the large family units. We'll have a playground and all of that on site as well, but we weren't able to pencil that in, but just kind of wanted to give you a quick snapshot of that site. So I'm going to flash this up here just as some maybe introductory questions for you, and then I'll stop sharing so I can see you. But I was hoping that perhaps you had some thoughts about that. These projects. What's most important to you, to the people you serve, the organizations you work with? Ideas that you have for us, for Three Rivers, about how we can be welcoming to everybody in the community, how we can work with you and others to do outreach to make sure word gets out about these projects, or incorporating things that ensure that we're reflecting communities we want to serve, and again, creating a welcoming atmosphere. And if this is a lot to take in our short period of time, which it probably is, what are your ideas for how we can perhaps build an advisory group or continue this conversation so we really have some very genuine feedback that will impact these projects as we move along in our journey, I'll call it, to create finalize our design and create our service planning around the projects. So I'm going to stop presenting. There we go. So I can see you.
Leo said, I think we can have about 10 to 15 minutes of conversation, Q&A type of thing as well. Anybody want to tee up their first question, a comment?
It's all of it for renting?
Yes, you got it. All of it's for rent. Yep.
Omar got it. Yeah.
Yes, my name is Omar Noor. I'm Director of Somali American Social Services, and thank you for your presentation. I have a couple of questions, two questions. I want to emphasize, many times to help my Somali community. the first thing he told me that if the house they can help you the people about the 300,000 or 360 the value, but most of my community they have 5 kids, 6 kids, they need a 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom. The price of the housing in the register is very high, so they were upset, and we come back. We cannot get any opportunity, to get that, down payment. So still that rule is going on, or just you make some change, or how you can help that people?
Great. So if I got the question, it was kind of a combination of how, sorry, say that again. Can you ask me your question again? I just want to make sure I got it right.
The question is the community, Somali community, or other community, immigrant population, they have a large family. If they try to buy the house, it's very expensive. We want Riverside, and they say the policy on Riverside, Three Rivers, they cannot, help anyone who can go about that price, $360,000. So many people they upset, and they don't get any help, and still they are fighting in 2 apartments and 3 apartments, paying
Sure.
more heat, more electricity, and family, many teenagers they cannot control the apartment because they live, next to each other for the apartment. So how
Sure.
you can help with that people?
Yeah, thank you for the question. So yeah, that has been a problem for us as well. That limit, that purchase price limit is set by the state. And so our down payment assistance, they won't allow us to even ask for a waiver. So we've made that really clear, and I would love to, I'll make sure you have my email information because I'd love to connect with you. We've been talking to the Minnesota Housing team about changing that. So there are 2 key issues that we've been hearing. One is that purchase price, because exactly what you're saying, a lot of the large families are renting 2, 3 apartment apartment units, which is terribly expensive, and people can't afford to do that. And finding a house under that 360 for the 4 or 5 bedroom in Rochester is really difficult. So I'd like to talk to you a little bit more about that. We've had some ideas. Right now we're piloting a project in Faribault where we're building 5-bedroom homes in partnership with Habitat for Humanity. And that is, they will be sold below that purchase price. So we're putting in huge down payment assistance, I should call it big down payment assistance to bring down that purchase price. So households, specifically large households, can buy those 5-bedroom projects. So there might be some opportunity here. We're friends with First Homes here in Rochester. I wonder if there could be some opportunity to replicate that, where we're building a handful or so of affordable large family homes that come in under that price point. That's just off the top of my head, but I'd love to talk to you more about some options that we could come up with together.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Fatma, you got your next.
Hi, this is Fatima from Pamoja Women. I second what Omar says, and then the other thing is that I know from firsthand that with First Homes as well, building new homes, what tends to happen is once the appraisal is done, the home value goes up. Then that's the price that they didn't anticipate that for the price to go as up now with the market and everything. So again, it ends up that families will not be able to get those homes because of their price range. So is there another option of just simplifying things or making it easier that even though the appraisal prices go up, you shouldn't go back and say that the median, because you're going to be ranging on the high end of the median, and so that families end up not getting them.
Excellent point. And so that's where the other kind of key to the puzzle is this down payment assistance. So exactly to your point, let's say they appraise out at, I'm making this up, $400,000, but we've planned together, and Three Rivers has applied to the state to get a $50,000 amount of money, basically, that can act as a special down payment, especially for this project. We can attach that to the project and then bring down that purchase price to $350,000. So that's the strategy that we are using in Faribault. I actually just had a group meeting, and exactly to your point, with our partner Habitat that's building these homes, to say, well, what if this goes higher than, I think we've got $55,000 in down payment. What if it goes higher than the $55,000? We're already strategizing about different resources we can tack on in addition to that behind Habitat to control that price. So totally agreed. And I think that's something, again, that, you know, if that's our key focus and we plan for it, I think there's some tools or levers we can pull if we put something like that together. Not easy by any means. So I don't want to say it's easy, but I would say there's some possibilities there for us to talk about that.
Do you have any fundings now to assist with a down payment, including what First Home has?
We do, but exactly to Omar's problem or issue is that our down payment is only up to 21,500, if I got that number right, 21,500, $21,500, but we're beholden to this $360,000, the sales price limit. And so it's unfortunately been excluding a lot of large families because they can't find a house at that price point. And so we're kind of, our hands are a little bit tied right this second with that down payment assistance, but yeah, we do have that resource available until something else is created.
Can we apply for that if families, because I have families in line who are interested in those, the assistant program. So can we apply for those ones or?
Yes, and I'm going to put my, if I can find the chat here. What's wrong with me? I will find the chat. And then what I will do is I'll put my information in there. Why don't you contact me directly so I can make sure that I link you up with our processor and your folks can.
Sorry, we sent you an email, so hopefully you'll respond to that from Khadija from Pamoja Women.
Great, perfect, thank you.
Anybody else got a question? If not, I have a question. So the presentation you just made is really about rental units at this moment in time, the projects. So you're saying that there are other projects that could be purchasable, ownership, that type of thing? Is that you're not just saying this is not? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, sorry everyone. I probably should have kind of given some more framework to this. So on top of Three Rivers work and what I just described is our rental projects that we have coming forward, we also have a program called Achieve Homeownership. We do homeownership counseling and education, but one kind of area that we've started piloting now is partnerships with people like Habitat for Humanities or entities similar to like First Homes here in Rochester, where Three Rivers can apply for a special down payment pool that's specifically tied to certain houses that are being built by these builders. And so Three Rivers' role is really one of down payment, counseling, education, and then we partner with a nonprofit builder. So thank you. Yes. And so those are possible to create, and we can create those in the same kind of timeline as I'm sharing now for a July competition.
Anybody else? Otherwise, I'll ask one more question. Okay.
Great.
Can you say a few more words about the welcoming center that can you say a few words about that? That being built in Austin.
Yeah. So the Welcome Center, it exists in Austin. It existed before we kind of came into town with the housing development work. But that Welcome Center really is exactly what it sounds like, specializes in welcoming folks that are new to the United States, to the Austin community, and making sure they're linked up with the resources they want, opportunities, employment, and so on, childcare and other things. And so what Three Rivers did for our housing work is we linked up with the Welcome Center and said, how can we link up with you so that the people you're serving are able to be housed here if they want to be housed, and how do we make sure this is known and outreach and we're not sort of operating in silos, which is, Al, exactly why I'm here today is, how can I, Three Rivers, collaborate with you and the households that you aim to serve and advocate for? How can we make sure that their voices are heard in this development work that we're doing, and that these projects are welcoming and are opportunities for housing?
So I guess I'm hearing the Welcome Center is something already exists, just that you're collaborating closer with the Welcome Center. Okay.
Yeah.
That clarifies for me, because I had the wrong impression that you're actually building a new center or something, a structure.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Any more questions? And then of course we'll. I'm sure that follow up any kind of individual question from the various individual groups. hopefully we can also share it out for the whole community as well, any kind of information like that. George Thompson's got his hand raised. George.
I'm just curious about whether or not you've had to address the issue of senior housing for minorities. Is there, because some of the housing in Rochester is relatively expensive for seniors as well.
Yes, so so Three Rivers hasn't quite yet done a senior housing complex. But our neighbors across the street from the Bear Creek project we were talking about, Olmsted County, they are developing a senior project. One of their projects that's going in the July round for Rochester is a senior housing project. So George, I think that would be great. If you would like, I can link you up. Mark Ingalls there is their key developer. I think that would be awesome if you could connect with him. I think he'd love it to hear what your thoughts are about that project.
Okay. Anybody else? Thank you very much.
Thank you so
Okay.
much. And
Thank
if you don't mind, thank you. I'll just leave it with one last statement is that just if you guys think of anything and you'd like to reach out to me, I'd love to hear from you. Even if it's a quick sidebar or email, I'd love to hear your thoughts. So thank you very much for your time tonight.
Yeah, I'm sure that you'll be getting a lot of
I was gonna say that. Please respond to the email.
Yep.
We sent you an email too as well.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So again, you're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting. And I'm going to share my screen here. And then, okay, hopefully you can see my screen, right? So again, we just had the Three Rivers Community Actions Affordable Housing Projects. And then I'm going to spell 505 right now, actually. So I guess we're actually on time here. So I'm going to say a few words about the Intercultural Center that we've been asked to present to the DMC Real Estate Summit that's going to be happening and May 31st, actually. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can get my slide up. Okay, and this is the slide deck that Kim Sin and I have been working on. And then, in fact, we just interlocked this morning with the DMC representatives, Wafaz, and then Kevin Bright. And then they gave me some more suggestions how to construct this slide deck. And I haven't incorporated all the ideas they gave me yet, so it'll be changing a little bit. But by and large, it's gonna be similar to what we got here. And they only they're gonna give us 7 minutes. I think Promote Women, I think you guys you're also gonna present something, I believe, in the Housing Summit.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, right. So it's gonna be pretty short, duration, but we'll see if we can make it work. And I'm gonna move it real fast too. So the proposal, I don't know how many of you recall or have been at the beginning, that this Intercultural Center, this 21st century space, it has been kicking around for a long time by Diversity Council, DSABLE. In fact, for those of us that were in CMRC back in 2020, before COVID even, that the reason the CMRC was formed at one time was really to say bring two ideas together to drive this one issue. Number one is the village co-op that Kim Sin is taken off pretty well, as well as this intercultural center space. So that is where this thing actually came from, this idea. So I'm gonna be presenting to the general audience. So I'm gonna say a few words about CMRC. Say the idea that we consist of BIPOC nonprofit agencies, BIPOC businesses, and then individuals. And our purpose is to harmonize, integrate, amplify the otherwise underrepresented voices and then we build intercultural bridges, and then we try to expand our influence. And it's the way that we've been talking about. We get together, hear each other's story, and then we always find that connection is really important. There's a need for a place for connections. And this idea about requiring a connection, physical connection, basically resonates with a study that was conducted by DMC back in 2016. Residents at large within our community express the same thing about the need to be include to be engaged. So there's a need to just go beyond just casual connection. So what we are saying that we do need a space. In fact, we need intercultural center. That is the idea. Okay, so what is the intercultural center? Well, it's a place where people of different ethnicities, religions, languages, and lifestyles can come together, learn from each other. It's also a hub of creativity, innovation, and collaboration that fosters mutual understanding, respect. It can also be a source of economic and social value that can generate income and jobs for local community. So that is a general concept of an intercultural center and its benefit. Okay. Somebody just want to come in. I want to let them admit them. Okay. So that's a general definition of an intercultural center. But in order to implement this in the Rochester setting, our southeast, our Olmsted County Rochester setting, we wanted to make this a little bit even more pertinent or relevant to what our vision here within our city. First of all, okay, let's see if comment doesn't go. Oh, there you go. First of all, Rochester is an intercultural city. This to remind us that we since 2018, the city of Rochester and Olmsted County has become a member of this intercultural city initiative, which is an international, European-based standard body that really members that join this movement, compare each other about the elements such as what makes an intercultural city, where do you fit, and then measure some of the things like interaction, mutual respect, connections, and that type of thing. So we are intercultural city. Okay, so whatever we do that in build out our center need to be kind of expand that, make this vision even more real. That's number one. And secondly is the DMC, Destination Medical Center, declare a vision that we've got this big idea that we are America's city for health. And so our intercultural center got to drive that the intercultural city notion, number one, and also city for health notion. City for health, encourages what? Healthy lifestyles and social connections. Lo and behold, those are two things that a space could help. So our thought then is that our intercultural center would be based on food, all aspects of food. It's an enterprise model that you can think of it as a place you can come and sample intercultural, multi-ethnic food, and a place where you can also have know about ingredients, ethnic ingredients, how they prepare them. You can also have things like imagine a place you can come to discover and to sample. And food, of course, is healthy, nutritional food is an essential element to healthy lifestyle. So we incorporate some of those ideas in here, obviously. Let me just go for it here. And so by doing this, we kind of model what is the kind of atmospherics that's common in many parts of the world. This idea about street food, you can go to, for example, Singapore, and then Hong Kong, where I came from. We always have the street food kind of an idea. You can come and do a lot of sampling around. And so if we can build this structure, have that kind of atmospherics, and then wrap around with intercultural programming from various cultural groups that within our community, and also promote and also conversation, the cultural conversation, such as what we have done in Diversity Council before, which is the whole idea about the stories telling, that type of thing. And we can really model what an America City for Health and in the culture city would look like. And this space would become a welcoming front door. And when you come here, it's be welcoming, and then from there you can navigate and discover the unique value of Rochester. So that is the general concept. Now, a little bit more about this is really, I need to time myself too. I think I've already exceeded 5 minutes. Okay, so think of it as a global kitchen in a marketplace for food and food related ideas and other ideas. It be an entrepreneurial spirit, because we need revenue that generate from the space, and so that we can underwrite the operation of this center. To think of it, even broadly, it could be a supply chain portal, in the sense that it could be a wholesale retail, farm to table cottage industry that brings to marketplace some locally sourced food. And of course, it's always also a gathering place for economic and cultural exchange. There, it could be a place where you can share idea about how to business idea even. And we believe that it can be a go-to place for patients, male patients and their companions, and visitors and residents to discover diverse nutritional foods and get a feel for what a global city for health would be like. A few more words about our business model. Is for the 3 elements of it. It has to be sustainable. Yeah, it will be innovative, and it'll be extensible. Sustainable, we can have general revenue, making it a proving ground for operators that will operate the space, so that they can test out their concepts and then to underwrite operations of facility. Of course, we need public-private partnerships, to do this. It has to be supported by local businesses, government entities, and also we believe that how will be run by intercultural board, community board, to run this operation. It's got to be market driven, because the trending could be different, it changes. So the way we operate, we be very attentive to the market conditions. We think it's very innovative in this approach, because we are aligned with this idea about thinking local. No, actually, it's the other way around. Think global and act local. We are a global city, aligned with what DMC wants to be and what Rochester wants to be. We want to be a global city. But we also want to tap into local resources to act locally. So that is a unique concept. I think other cities may not have this picture about being a global city, which Rochester, even the size, it could be only 120, 30,000 people, but we've got this global vision. And then we also have connectivity to local sources, and also supply chain that actually is broader, that can reach out to many different sources. And we believe that we'll be co-designing this to make it a welcoming place, a place for all of us to explore, discover, and connect, and to create. And it will be extensible in the sense that, especially for developers, because of a number of sites and proposals that be available soon by DMC and by the city of Rochester. There have sites be going out for requests for proposals soon, that have this element about, if you can propose something like that is mixed use, that is affordable housing combined with residential and maybe even some commercial development, that would make, if you bring in intercultural center as part of the commercial part of it, that would make your proposal even more compelling to satisfy the idea of mixed use, usage of these sites. Stakeholders, for instance, that operators would be ethnic food vendors. We're examples like Night Market, Global Market, and then some of our people here that already participate in that, and suppliers, area food suppliers, non-profits and businesses, exhibitors. Okay, those would be the tenants, operators, and the guests would be male patients and companions. And then Experience Rochester, of course, there are people that come for sports events, the conferences, and all that. They would find it another place to come, to really get a feel for Rochester. And of course, area residents, educators, learners, and BIPOC groups. This is the right time because this idea actually had been taken by Diversity Council, by CMRC, by a number of people to the community. Okay, so and it's been kicking around for a long right time, and then these some example of that this idea has passed by formally and informally to all these groups that I portray here, economic development folks, and Mayo Clinic, and commercial developer and financial institutions. Oh, and then of course the village is part of the whole thing. And somebody's trying to call me. I need to shut it off. So it's well received from this idea has been passed through these organizations. They all say, "Wow, this is a good idea." So, and then we also have some connections with the metro area. In particular, people that are responsible have invested in building this Asia Mall at Eden Perry. And then there's word has it that they actually would like to come to Rochester to build something of that nature. So we've been talking to them about, rather than building an Asia Mall, replicate what that is, maybe bring that Asia Mall idea into being a component of the interculture center. And then of course, from other connections we can make is folks that run the night market and their partners and vendors, and Rochester International Association, all that. Okay, so these are things that we can reach out to. And there are examples, by the way. The Louvre is reformatting and restoring the armory to make it a culture center, a place that entrepreneurial development that incorporate arts, food, culture. So they're doing it in the Louvre. Okay, that's an example. And then in other Twin Cities, there's this North Loop Root District also feature art, food, and culture. So those are examples that already exist. And then a potential place for folks that, it's really the Rochester Riverfront small area plan that's being studied. And then some of us actually participate in that co-designing, actually. The east subside of this plan, it consists of commercial and as well as housing ideas. So there's potential there to bring that in. In fact, one developer expressed some really great interest about building intercultural center idea into this site here. And then what we need, we need to formalize our coalition to activate this vision. We need to form a steering committee, steering agency, project management, business analysts, fundraiser, fund. So that really is what we'll be asking folks to do. I would be presenting to the real estate summit folks that we could use some of that. Anybody interested in exploring more to be participating in this idea. And that is my presentation. Okay. Hopefully I didn't lose anybody. Okay. Any question? I think we got a few minutes for you to ponder. Let me stop sharing if I can. Anybody want to have comment and pushback? And
No, I'm
improvement?
curious. I'm curious. The place where you're thinking is across the government center.
It's only a
Those-
proposed. It's it's
Okay.
across there. Yeah. There is right now. It's kind of a parking lot.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a parking lot and
yeah.
where the city
Yeah.
the market, the
Yeah.
farmers market.
Right, Mark. So that is a city-owned property, and then the city in around June is going to send out request for proposal. It's part of this small riverfront small plan, and so the request proposal would be reflecting the fact they desire certain features, like build something that can satisfy these conditions. So early thought is that any proposal would accommodate these ideas would be well received. Okay, so that is one idea. Of course, other places may be, and there may be other options too. Like a Seneca site potentially. So I'm just pointing out this is one place. Yeah.
Hello, Al. This is Kim.
Thank you.
I know that downtown. We know that whatever the investor, their return is going to be. We don't know. It's going to be affordable. That's the thing where, especially in that area. Or is the city kind of subsidizing? Say, you get this amount of rent, and bill and scale it. Is that something that we know, or is it still in the discussion?
It is still a discussion. We are really, it's still at the concept phase, you can call it, right? We still need, like I said, some kind of ownership steering agency. I think there sounds like DMC. Somebody's got some echo. If you can mute it in the meantime. Yeah. But DMC, well, far seems to, and then talking to them this morning, they are tending toward being, wanted to be at least the coordinator of this idea looking forward. I told them, don't look at me, Al Lum, because I'm just trying to carry the concept forward, and we do need an agency that steers this. DMC seems to be more buying into the idea, being that agency. So there's still a lot of work to do, yeah. And I think I really believe that we need to put this, we've like I said, we've talked to people informally. So we really need to, once we get this thing even more concretely, we need to go and really revisit in a more formal way. For example, talk to the city, Rochester, to say what, the kind of assistance we might need for this kind of thing. Does that answer your question?
Yep. Thank you, Al.
Okay, Fatma, you got a hand raised. So.
Correct me if I'm wrong. So are you with the idea and everything? Are you just thinking mainly it's going to be for food, or you're going to be having other businesses for the community, or cultural business? Like example, if you guys have visited Caramel and Minneapolis, where the Somalis have their stores. So are you thinking that because it's going to be a intercultural, so we'd have different foods from different locations or different countries, and then have clothes or anything being sold in your idea? Or
This actually, of course, this idea was mostly related to food, or actually because we're going to tailor to healthy living. But I don't think we can exclude other vending potential either. But the main anchoring thing to draw people in is food. And then I would actually believe that once they're in, I think there may be other type of entities that could, like even what you suggested, other items can be intercultural in nature. to be discovered there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we'll exclude necessarily the other types of offerings, Right. So, but the food is the main joy, okay, to bring people in, as that is the belief, okay. Yeah, because now the food, first of all, offering good food and then low fresh food, idea about preparing how they prepare them, and then to also maybe have some supply chain that links into local farmers. That idea is the centerpiece of this concept. But to draw people in first, and then of course we wrap it around cultural programs and conversations, and maybe other entities too. Yeah. To, it's not fixed that necessarily. Yeah, but does that answer your question, someone? Yeah. Thank you for your question there.
It does. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else have any comment that have any resistance to this idea, or don't go there? So far, so good, right? Okay. All right. So I'll go to the next item, which is really, see if I can go back there again. So a little bit of a project, CMRC projects, and then also a few comment about the building out the future CMRC. And this is my slide. Hopefully you can see. We can do that. Okay. So there are two projects that we're engaged in from this group: the Compass project and RCTC Perkins project. And then I will say a few words about the future of CMRC. And there are some announcements that I'm going to be making on behalf of some of the announcements that people want me to help them make. Okay. And of course, the NIH grant, right? The Compass NIH grant that really actually tie in very well with the health equity structure, from National Institute of Health. And in fact, I think the proposal itself had to do with food too, and if this right now, the thing is that because it turns out they're still waiting for response from the NIH, and Kathy Karowski, is still the main point. So she tells me that we still haven't received any up or down, confirmation from National Institute of Health, and so that is where Compass is. But the idea really is a good idea, right? The thing about doing basically National Institute of Health really asking for grassroots ideas about how to build a healthy equity infrastructure, and getting an idea from grassroots rather than academic research, really from grassroots. And Perkins project, some of you are here, and then we are promoting. The whole idea is that is promoting BIPOC community technical education, working with RCTC as a fee-for-service project. The project team is MWright, ECLA, Pomoja, CERT, Journey, and myself, OpenBeam. And we just completed focus group conversations, and we're going to review our findings in June sometime, and then we submit that to RCTC. And then all of us will get compensated for this work, which is important. And then the future CMRC, we did have a subgroups, CMRC steering committee back we met May 8th. We didn't have everybody there, but we have a good conversation. Recording, we had a video recording, and if anybody want to hear the recording, you can, I can make that available for you, for you to listen to. The net is that we will convene. We need to convene they facilitate a strategic planning meeting sometime in June, and sometime we need to get together and still on my to-do list to see how we can get people together to have that future conversation. So that is the future of CMRC. Okay. Any question, any comment about what I just said here about? Okay. Yes, no? Okay.
And no, just a comment, when you were mentioning about the compass,
Yep.
I have met the people from the University of Minnesota that are part of this grant, and also I heard, I mean, this proposal, and also the people I understood as Sarah from the cities is taking the lead instead of diversity council. So that's what I understood.
Actually, I think Kathy, even though she's no longer at the diversity council, Kathy is still the main contact point.
Yes.
That so then from that point of view, but that point, if the project or proposal accepted, then it comes to implementation, rolling this out. Maybe you may be right that somebody else, some agency would take over that implementation. So did you say the conversation of University of Minnesota Extension? Is that what?
No, it's the University of Minnesota. That I met some folks in other meetings that they mentioned about it, and then I said, "Oh, just putting the."
Well, they're part of the. We remember that when Diversity Council was driving this effort, that they received like I don't know how many people that embraces or endorses University of Minnesota, because and then other groups like yourself too, I think, all write letters of commitment, that type of thing, to support this whole concept. And in fact, I think we at that time we felt we had a real good chance of going become approved.
Yeah.
Now
and it has
with
to, yeah, and it has to do about health initiatives. So that's important.
Health, and also about food too. Healthy food linked up with the village kind of concept. Locally grown food, market food, and so we're still waiting. And I'm not necessarily really, because of the situation with Diversity Council at the moment. It's not the sign may not be too good, to be honest. Right? We need to be honest about it. We're losing that particular entity to push this. It's gonna be uphill battle. Anybody else have any comment? Actually, I do have one more slide. So, yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
This is Kim. Do we have the direction of where CMRC do we have a physical sponsor, or are we going to try to get our own 501c3? Where are we at with that?
No, we don't have anything. That's why we need the strategic meeting, planning meeting. Because really, there are Stephanie from CERT, have one time thought that we could in fact do exactly what you said, right? Start with being an incubator and then being sponsored by something and then become a 501c3. That is the idea. And I think it's still a workable idea. But in order to move that forward, we still need to get together, right? To really talk it over. Okay. This planning meeting, they need to place me. And how serious are we, to really do this? And no, we haven't totally decided now, but the general idea is there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, announcements. Journey. Is has this scholarship. For, and then the winners to be crowned on June 17 at the WCP Juneteenth celebration. So there's there's a Mr. and Miss Juneteenth thing that people can apply for $1,000 scholarship. And then Intermix Project will be hosting a financial literacy seminar Saturday at United Way. Intermix is a Hispanic group, I believe. Ekla, are you connected with Intermix at all?
Yeah, the United Way provided support in one of the rounds of granting to start new groups
Yeah,
serving the community.
Yeah, this is Intermix Project, and they're gonna have a financial literacy discussion being offered by Associated Bank about budgeting, credit score, retirement, investment, that type of thing. And everybody's welcome to attend. You know, this. In fact, this will be the third one. Looks like the second one. Yeah, May 20th. Okay. So somebody talking in the background, you know, mute it, please. Hello.
What did you ask?
Somebody's talking.
Yeah, I need to turn off mine.
Was it you? Yeah. Okay. Anybody else want to have anything to talk about? You know, feedback. You know, from everybody. If not, then we will call it a day. Going
Thank
once,
you.
going
Thank
twice.
You. And
Okay.
Thank you, Al. Yep, thank you, Al.
Okay, I'll make the recording available
Okay.
on the website. Okay.
Thanks, Al.
Okay.
Thank you,
Bye.
boss. Please, our
All right.
boss.
Yep, bye.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye
thank you.
bye. Goodbye.